This is the police.
Is a battered woman.
You are a battered woman?
Yes.
Who assaulted you?
My ex. He's in the house and I'm scared.
Is he in the house?
Yes, and I'm scared.
My experience with women's advocates goes back to the late 1980s. You'll have to understand that when I was in the throes of being a battered woman, a lot of my life back then is a blur.
And the hospital didn't know what to do with me. I didn't have injuries serious enough that there was much more that they could do. The doctors and nurses decided to call in a chaplain. It was because I couldn't stop crying and they couldn't get me to stop. And he said, well, there's a place for women like you. And I said, well, you know, what are women like me? And that was the first time that I heard the term battered women.
Spouse abuse has been with us for centuries, accepted by society and permitted and regulated by law. Until fairly recently, it was understood that husbands were the head of the household. Wives were to obey their husbands and deserved physical punishment if they did not. In the eyes of the law, the husband had what was called a right of chastisement.
When I think of Battered Women's Movement, it was to put the light on women were being battered. They were the ones that had less rights, less protection. Women had no value.
I think the biggest piece is really changing those social norms. I mean, that's what causes. I mean, if you think you have the right to hurt somebody because of who you are, your privilege in any community, that's a problem. It's the gender roles piece. It's about power and control.
Well, when it came to domestic violence, I mean, some of the myths that you would hear, or misconceptions, or the things that perpetrators would hide behind, is she must have asked for it. She's still staying there. And why doesn't she leave? If she didn't like this, why doesn't she leave?
People who watch this television show will have probably one predominant question.
Why did I stay?
Yeah. Why did you stay?
Partly, I believe the reason I stayed was I thought that was the way it was, and there wasn't anything I could do about it.
And they never asked, where can she go with 4 children? Yes, you could go to a shelter by 1974 for 2 weeks, but there really wasn't any place to go. You had no place to stay, and how would you support yourself?
I was raised Catholic, so I really believed that I would go to hell if I left my husband, if I divorced. No one in my family had ever done that. And so it was a choice between hell or getting punched. I think I'd rather deal with getting punched than eternity and the way that you know, my religious beliefs were at that time. And I just, you know, so I went back.
The idea that you should make this marriage work or stay home for the children, that was so ingrained in women. It was so ingrained, and it was your fault because you're responsible for the family. Victims of domestic abuse, now they know they have the right to reach out and get the help they deserve. Our victim drop-in center, Bridges to Safety, that's collaboratively run, we have 1,600 visits, walk-ins every year, and we're just in St. Paul.
For a long time, I thought that, you know, being very focused on my abuser and changing his ways, you know, I always was thinking that he was the problem. Not that I was the problem, but that I had a role in changing things for my family. That even if he never changed, that I had a responsibility to change things for me and my children, to make sure that they never experienced what they had experienced again. But in order to do that, I needed to understand why I was hooking up with abusers. I guess I was always hoping that a miracle would happen with him. I didn't realize that the miracle was going to happen with me. So.